What's going on, everyone? Mayor Codex back again. And I'm sorry I haven't uploaded so much as of recent. I know I made that video telling you guys that I wasn't going to be uploading too much for a few weeks, but I kind of feel bad just leaving you hanging, just leaving you in the dark. So here's my update, I suppose. The update and the backstory a little bit, since I kind of feel a little more comfortable sharing it now that I saw all that love coming my way. So anyway, long story short, my mother and I left the house in the morning one day, and my mother went to work and I was traveling around the world. Not literally, of course, but traveling nonetheless. And in my travels, I decided to hang out with a couple of my friends, and around, I think it was 6 in the afternoon or so, I finally got back home. Well, when I got back home, my friend wanted to go for a brief smoke break. So I was all like, sure, let me let you into the backyard. So we go into the backyard and he sparks up his addiction stick. And as he's taking a pull, I'm walking closer to the house and I hear what sounds like water pouring out of somewhere. So instinctively, I check the area where the hose is connected to outside and notice that that's dry. So I head over to another area where I thought maybe water was flowing somewhere and nothing was happening there. So I started listening a little closer and I realized that water was flowing out from the side of my house in a place water isn't supposed to be coming out of. So, you know, the first thing I thought was, oh shit, my house is taking a piss. No, but seriously. Like, I kind of bugged out for a brief moment and didn't know what to think about the whole situation. So I told my buddy, hey, you're going to stay right here. Tell me if the sound continues or if this is just my imagination. I don't know why I asked him to tell me if it was my imagination when I saw it with my damn eyes, but that's beside the point. So I go over to the front door and I walk inside my house and I hear what sounds like a sprinkler system in my house. So I was extremely confused and I paused for a moment and I thought to myself, well, this can't be. Like, this is practically summer. Did a pipe burst? For real? That must have been some heavy pressure. But I continued to walk anyway to the basement, and what I saw was quite the horrific sight. Like, drop tiles sagging, debris from other drop tiles that already dropped, ironically. My sleeping area in my man cave for when I have additional people over was drenched and soaked. Some of my electronics, some of my technology, all that other fancy schmancy stuff, soaked. Luckily for me, a few weeks prior to this, I moved my streaming area up into a spare room upstairs. But nonetheless, the site was something straight out of Chernobyl. So at that point, I kind of panicked, and I sprinted upstairs so I could get to the back door and let my buddy in and let him know that some shit was going down. And, well, when I got upstairs, I was delayed in what I was expecting to do because I realized that my kitchen had turned into a makeshift pond, if you will. There was water just spilling out of beneath the sink, the dishwasher. There was just water everywhere, trickling over to the dining room area. And it was kind of frightening. Like, I didn't know what to do. I'm gonna be honest, like, I nearly cried. The situation almost made a grown man cry. But that's beside the point. So I head over to the back door and I shout to my buddy, I'm straight up panicking, my dude. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I might as well turn my house into a public swimming pool or something. And him not understanding what's actually going on just stares at me awkwardly and just casually, nonchalantly, slowly walks over to me, extremely confused and such. Though a few moments later, I think he realized that I was bugging out because he started sprinting up the back deck area. But he's kind of an oblivious fool sometimes. I mean, as much as I love him, he's a bit of an oblivious fool. Because when I opened up the back door, he was all like, what's going on? Despite the fact that the kitchen was literally a pond at this point. So he says to me, oh, it can't be that bad, as he takes a nice heavy step into the pond and realizes what he had said might not be true. So now at this point, both him and I are casually treading water through the kitchen as we're exploring the damages. And then we decide to head downstairs. And he looks at the ceilings, the floor, the affected rooms downstairs. And then, I suppose, the panic really set in for both of us. Though in that moment, I finally decided that maybe it might be a good idea to just cut off water to the house, because I had no clue where it was actually originating from, aside from beneath the sink. But at that point, I wasn't thinking of pulling apart the ceiling to figure out if there was a valve there or not to cut. After that, my buddy and I, we decided that we were just going going to hang out in the stream room for a little bit and figure out what the next step in the situation was as we try to, I suppose, calm down. Shortly after my mother arrived, and I figured that I should show her what had happened. And right then and there, she decided that she was going to get in contact with the insurance company and everybody else that I suppose needed to know what was going on. So the next few weeks consisted of contacting the insurance company and getting contractors and adjusters coming through to check out the damages for themselves, along with the cleaning crew that the insurance decided to send out. A few weeks after that, we ended up receiving an estimate from the insurance company and also another couple adjusters coming by. Those couple adjusters that came by looked at the paperwork that we had received from the company and told us that there were a few things missing here and there, and that they could potentially help us receive more money if needed for our renovations. And so they gave us a little bit of a rundown, ran through the house, looked around, this, that, and third, and slapped down a contract. And so we kind of just sat there for a moment, trying to understand the figures, trying to understand the numbers, trying to understand everything that these guys had told us. And we, I guess, signed the contract without fully thinking it through. Luckily for us, there was a clause in the contract that acknowledged that we had a few days to cancel if we did not agree with this whole procedure. So after a day or so of reading over the contract and rethinking and reprocessing everything that they've said, because you know how companies are and all that, just trying to force you into agreeing to stuff without giving you a moment to think, without a moment to breathe even, and never really truly fully explaining everything 100%. We kind of decided that we were just gonna cut it there and be done with it. We didn't want to work with them. At this point, we were just content with what we've received. I mean, we wish we would have received more, but you know, who doesn't? Especially dealing with like $1 billion corporation handing out pennies to people that have completely screwed over homes. But that's beside the point. So after we decided to end it there, they decided to stick their attorney on us. And well, we're still dealing with that right now at this point. But to continue on with the previous situation, we ended up figuring out how much the insurance company was going to give us. And we kind of just decided to stick with that and figure out a budget based on that. Though the insurance company only wanted to cover the bare minimum of repairs and renovations, such as kitchen cabinets, but only the lower half. And a house that was built in like the late 70s, early 80s, like, I don't think it's very easy to match cabinets to that. So my mother and I decided that we were going to go with the cheapest option of cabinetries to replace both bottom and top sets. So now that's money out of our pockets. So we gotta cut corners on budgeting and stuff there. Plus at this point, they've yanked out our dishwasher and they're about to yank out our oven. They only wanted to leave the oven in there temporarily until we finally get something situated. But the insurance company does not agree. So now we're going half in budget, half out of pocket, and it's kind of a shitty situation. So for like the last few weeks, my mother and I, we've been traveling around the world, not literally, but almost, trying to figure out the best deals, best pricings, and somewhere within our budget to make the house feel like a home again. So I've not really been in front of my computer all that much, but I figured I'd at least give you this much, give you this story, give you this explanation, because I appreciate y'all faces. Y'all are awesome. And I do want to soon return back to making content, whether it's videos or streaming, because y'all are awesome. And I miss y'all faces. But with that being said, I do want to bring up one last thing. Rockstar, I see you. Take-Two Interactive, I see you. Still on that goddamn saline drip with content, telling us about roles, telling us about character creation, telling us it'll be here soon. Somebody, please cue that extended, fantastic SpongeBob narrator.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Much appreciated, much appreciated. But I see you guys. I see y'all. What you doing with this content? Like I said, fashion party and 3 months until proper ish is down. I'm calling it. And with that being said,
Merrick Codex, signing out.